Hello everyone. Welcome to another video. I've played quite a few sessions of this wonderful game called Symbaroum with my friends. We played one huge session during Christmas time and two other sessions before that. And so I'm a bit late with my videos. So what I want to do today is to recap sessions 55 and 56 and tell you what I used with my prep, show you the prep, show you what was useful, what wasn't, and maybe a few takeaways about these sessions. So first, I have a very fun group of players and PCs, and they are in the midst of a reworked version of Wrath of the Warden. And when we left them, they were trying to find the cause of corruption that caused the well to have such a reaction, a catastrophic reaction, and this huge sinkhole to appear in the middle of Disselhold. So the Goblin Bô went to the Salons of Symbaroum because they wanted to know if somebody came in the town with a source of corruption, they might be seen at the northern gate. So he went to see the stable boy, the goblin stable boy of the Salons, an NPC I created called Ulfomac. I actually used the randomizer in Foundry to get me a name. He said that he saw some people coming in like the night before the catastrophe. So that was session 54. During session 55, actually, we started the session when he was leaving the Salons, and I had two more goblins. I added a bit of detail with that improvised goblin of session 54. I added two goblins, a little short one, a tall female one, and they caught up to Bô on Corinthia Street, and they said, we want shillings too. We have info for you. And so he gave them a bit of money. I'm just getting to this beautiful lake here. Oh, I'm gonna show it to you. Shit, I didn't put my. Oh man, I'm sinking. I'm sinking. Okay, I didn't put my snowshoes on, so I just completely floundered there. So there's a little place we're living at right now, and there's a very small lake here with a pier. Just gonna go there and sit for a while I finish this video. So I was saying that I wanted to add more detail to these goblins because they are they're fun characters. My player that plays the Goblin Bô is not necessarily the most how could I say? Let's say he acts in the scenes, but he's not necessarily the player that will provoke scenes. He's starting to get the hang of it now, but it's less his thing. So I try to have some scenes that I throw at him that are specifically for his character. And goblin scenes are the most fun. So I added two goblins there because I decided between games, after session 54, I was thinking, okay, so what happened actually with Erlaber and his cohort? I wrote like the true story of Erlaber in my notes. As you can see, it was pretty detailed. Of course, anything that hasn't been revealed to the PCs is always open for modification or discussion. But I had a framework. I didn't get the dates really precise though. I don't know why. I just left them a bit vague. And so when I prepped for session 55, I just thought, okay, I want to give them something a bit stronger, like something of a lead that they can sort of follow after. So that's why I created these two other goblins, and the goblins came to talk to Bô to get some money, and they actually had some more info to give about this crew that came in from the forest. They had a cart pulled by an ogre, not very big ogre, a two-wheel cart. On the cart was a huge black box, and the crew was detailed. So there were the changelings in their changeling forms. There was the ogre with some silver jewelry. There was Desidera with a burgundy cape. And there was this strange man that you couldn't really see in a black cloak. So that's the first scene that we did. Just a little pickup with the goblins. Then They went to see the Templars at the winged Ladle. That's where the Templars were healing themselves after the encounters by the sinkhole. And they asked them, can we see the tablets? And they also told them that the tablets were not a problem. They were not the cause of corruption. So the Templars said, well, no, you can't see the tablets. But in the end, they negotiated with them and they obtained the possibility to at least check them out to make sure there isn't any curse on them or anything. In 2 or 3 days' time. Then they left and they decided to split the party again. That's fun for me. And so Lodemei and Bô went to the Ruin, which is a very famous tavern or inn for people that are explorers. And they were trying to look, of course, for the persons that were described by the goblins. They did not find them, but they received a little message from a goblin messenger asking them to come quickly to Kalegra's alley, I believe. And that is part of the actual printed module. It's the first attempt of Erlaber to get rid of the PCs. I didn't have a very precise timeline at that point, so I didn't know if that was quite early or late. But the thing is, Erlaber knows them very well. Since the sinkhole happened, he sent the changelings to spy on them, and he knows that they're involved in the investigation. Wild and Edogai went to the beacon to climb into the beacon. I reread the information on the beacon, and it's interesting that the beacon has actually a post of the rangers up there. The rangers of the Queen that are checking over Devakar have a post there. And they tried to use their witch sight with his weird glasses to try to find the source of corruption. Of course, they failed because it's hidden behind the sanctum. And something else happened that's quite interesting. We'll get to that. The other part of the group, Miresin and Melian, the barbarian connection, a changeling and a barbarian, went out of the city to talk with Gadramon and Anadea and keep them up to speed, and tell them what's going on and if they want to help. And they said, yes, sure, we can help, but we need the official the green light to go there, or else it might make a diplomatic incident. And when they came back from that, actually, they were followed by Lysindra Golden Grasp. So I used that part. I said, okay, now that they're high profile, they're like officially in this investigation, Lysindra will want to know what's up with them, because they were embroiled in some really shady stuff when they went out in Devakar and killed Kargoy Salamos and Serex Atio. There was this whole story with the crown, so she's not sure yet if they're good guys or bad guys, and she wants to know. So she's following Melian and Miresin as they are exploring the neighborhood where they think they could find Erlaber and his crew. So they're asking around the people, and Lysindra is following and asking the people what they ask them. Miresin notices that she's following. He hides. He surprises her, asks her what's this all about. She answers like a bit cockily. She says, "Okay, well, what's your problem? You know, why should I talk to you or something like that." And Melian was trying to sneakily come behind her, but she was covered by Mikariol the elf, which was on the rooftops, and he throws an axe at Melian with soporific drug on it, so just to take her out, I should say. And so that happens. Miresin is not aware of that. It's just a bit further down the street. Melian starts to try to flee, falls unconscious to the ground, and at that moment, Wild was doing clairvoyance from the top of the beacon he was preparing his clairvoyance ritual, waiting for Edogai to point him in a direction, and he was ready to use it. And so they see something running on the roofs very far away. He uses clairvoyance to get closer, get some better info on what's this creature. And with his clairvoyance, he can only go where he's already been in real life. So he's on the street level, and he just looks up and sees this elven silhouette. I didn't say it was an elf, of course, and just jump over the alleyway. And then they run to help Melian. They bring Melian back. They notice that she's not dead. She's just drugged and wounded. They leave her at the northern gate, and they decide to move on to Kalegra's alley to follow this little note that Bô received from a goblin. And when they get there, they send Edogai with Unnoticeable to scout out the area, and he has a good vigilant, and he notices a few things, and he understands that it's an ambush. So they just avoid the ambush. They just leave. I was really happy for that. I was like, great, now you're acting like you're being wily and intelligent. That's good. That's good. And so they decide to head on to follow another lead of theirs, which is the key that they found on Anadea's body. And they go to a locksmith they know. They learn that this key was made by a locksmith that's now dead. And they learn that once this locksmith is dead without descendants, his whole shop and his registry of who has the keys and what do they open has been transferred to the city, and a copy has been made for the legate of the queen, and that this is at the queen's archives, which are available to whom can pay the entry fee. And so they go to see the legation of the queen, and that was a very nice scene. I think I'll try to keep on going that way, and I hope I won't sink too much, but let's try. So they go see the legate, and actually they just talk to the librarian basically, and they go down into the vaults where some of the archives are, and they start looking, and they're about to find the information they're seeking. They find the information of the registry of this dead locksmith, and the legate appears behind them, and she asks them to come up and talk to her in a separate room. And they are wondering what's going on. She's been briefed by Decamedo. She knows who they are. And she wants to use this opportunity to get something out of them. So as per the book, she offers them the information they seek in exchange for the tablets. And of course they can't accept. Lodemei is sort of honor bound to not do that. And so they finally negotiate to a point where, with a few persuade rolls, they convince her that they can guarantee that she will see the tablets and she will get a rubbing of the tablets. And at that point she accepts, and she gives them the information about Anadea's locker, where it is. I decided to do that because I was thinking they of course she wants the tablets, but she's understanding now that with this Templar in their group, they'll never accept to steal them for her. So she decides that being brought to the tablets is a way to probably identify where they are and have another strike team get to them. Of course, the PCs don't know that. My players are sometimes a bit too, how do you say? They believe a bit too much what people tell them. But anyways, they're a bit gullible. We'll see what happens with that. I think they're starting to be a bit less gullible now. There's been so much ambushes and stuff going on that they're a bit more careful. So what's my takeaway for this session? That was a big, dense session. A lot of things happened. A lot of information was learned. As I said in previous videos, I want to go through this module pretty fast. That's why I did the Sellswords of the Sun separately. I don't want... That's why when they contacted the elf with the pearl, I decided to just tell them the whole shebang. I didn't want them to go to the elves and then come back and all of that. Just because, as written, it sort of feels forced. It's just no. That's not the thing. It's the fact that they do all these things to get to Anadea's storage, and then they learn that they couldn't have solved anything by themselves. They need to get to this other person who will tell them where the evil guys are, and that's. I don't know about, maybe tell me in the comments if you were a player and you do all this investigation stuff, you get mixed up in all sorts of stories to get more info. And then finally you get to the sort of the end of your lead And the only lead left is, okay, this person knows someone that will tell you what you need to do next. That's where it ends. You don't get an eureka moment for yourself. You just go for it. Of course, it's okay to have a character that tells the PCs what to do, but I don't know. If it's just a quest giver thing, you don't put so much build up to a quest giver. It sort of has to come easily without people noticing that you're egging them along. So that's why when they contacted the elf, this moment was special. It was a dramatic moment where the player decided to bind to the object without really knowing what it was, spent an XP. That's a game moment. You know, the player has done something, has committed to something. So that's the right moment to give something back, you know. So that's why I just told them that it was Eox. So there was still the whole, you know, the mystery wasn't solved. It was just, okay, it narrows down. It's not the tablets, it's not the well by itself, it's not the isle on the ground. It's this thing. That's what we need to find. But you still don't know who brought it in. So there's still a mystery. So it wasn't giving everything away. Anyhow, so my takeaways for session 55 is, what I prepped for Bô at the Salons worked fine. It was great. Those little characters were fun to roleplay. It was a very nice little scene. The Lysindra event with the attack by Mikariol, with all that stuff, that was like an hour of gameplay, I think, or maybe 45 minutes. And it's 3 lines in my prep. That's why imagining things beforehand and writing just a few lines for each thing that you imagine is enough most of the time. You don't need to write more. It's just, what's the situation? What's the idea? And then you have that as ammunition as you GM. At the end of session 55, Erlaber's plans were a bit ill-defined. When they were starting to ask, you know, who came by the door, and I had a vague idea, but I didn't set it in stone. And okay, at this hour, at this date, this happened. And I should have. That was a weakness in my prep. So I answered in terms that were pretty precise, but not too precise, just to give me some wiggle room for after. All that I wrote about the PCs, the prints, and what are the other NPCs are doing, that's just stuff that is good to know. So I was happy I had that on hand, but it wasn't immediately useful. Before I quickly recap session 56, I just want to, as usual, tell you that if you like these videos and want to support my channel, you should definitely head on to Drive-Thru RPG and look for Playing with Goblins. It's a small, fun adventure for Symbaroum. It includes a complete goblin village, includes some special rules for like a chase and track in the forest against some pretty bad guys. The hunter's crew is fully detailed and pretty scary. That's one way of supporting the channel. And of course, leaving a comment below, that's really useful, with a like or subscribe or all 3. So recap of session 56. I'm going to tie it in this video because I actually didn't prep for this. I used my prep from session 55. I didn't have time to prep. And I had like quite a few leftovers that I could use. And of course, the mechanics of the investigation were just doing their job of, building scenes one after the other. And so when we started, we explored Anadea's locker. That was a nice little scene in a more industrial part of town. I put some kind of a head guy checking over the place. With a few laborers outside, but it was pretty calm inside, and they went in. They explored everything that was to be found in that room. They found the mushroom, they found the meerkat, and they started to have a better idea of who Anadea was and what she was doing. They learned about Arkel because the owner of the place, or the manager, told them that Arkel and Anadea had rented that spot together, and that they came a few times together to that spot. So I just wanted to introduce that character in case it became useful. And after that, Bô decided, Okay. Okay, and after that, Bô decided to go back to see the goblins at the Salons and hire them as his little birds to do some spying work for them, because they wanted to find the cart and find the ogre with the silver jewelry. Wilde, Mikariol, and Edogai, they went to the Ordo Magica because they started having an inkling that this Eox's head could be used to do some nefarious sorcerous things, and that there is a forbidden section of the library at the Ordo Magica, and they just wanted to check who went by. Was there any strange visitors to come by to find some information? So they went there and they discovered that Desidera went there the morning of the sinkhole and the morning after, and that very morning. And to get into the secret part of the library, you need to be accompanied by a full member of the Order of Thistlehold, and the full member that accompanied her was Tobela. And so that's not in the book, of course. That's just me jiving on the book. Tobela was part of the expedition by Culinan Furia, Eufrinda, Erlaber, and consorts when they went back to the Vale, the Blooming Vale, to get to basically pillage the place and get all the precious arcane stuff out of it. So they knew each other. They went on an expedition together. I mean, Tobela and Desidera. And I decided that Desidera, being a mage of the Ordo, when she came in town to see Erlaber in previous years, well, she would sometimes go to the tower and consult some books and stuff like that. So Tobela knows Desidera, for occasional encounters over the years. That was like a big find for the players. And after that, Lodemei went to Temple to find information on Arkel, and she found that he was an initiate and all that. And at the end of that scene, my player needed to go, so I did a little cliffhanger for him. And an initiate came in the temple after the sun mass of the night and said, the knights are here, the knights are here. And we left it at that. So they don't know who the knights are that are here. But she was waiting for some knights because she asked her father from the temple to send her some reinforcements to go back to the Vale. So that might be them. Meanwhile, Miresin and Melian were sent once again in the streets to find that hideout, Erlaber's hideout, and they went back to the to see the witches again, and they said, okay, we know who it is. We just need to find where they're hiding, and we're going to move. If you could help us find the place, that would be great. And they said, we can try witch sighting. We can try finding this source of corruption, but you need to get us in with official mandate. So they say, okay, we're going to run to the mayor and come back with an official mandate. And as they're coming back from this encounter with the witches, they are ambushed in the streets. And that's where we finished the session. It was the session cliffhanger. Miresin and Melian in an alleyway, and boom, 7 people coming out of the dark. They were really, really not mindful of their surroundings as they were going. I had them do 2 vigilant checks on different occasions to see if they would notice that they were followed. And they failed, So that pretty much sums it up for sessions 55 and 56. The only thing that I really should have detailed precisely, like a long time ago, was the timeline of Erlaber. When he went out of town, who did he talk to, who saw him, all of that stuff. That's all what you need when you're doing an investigation. You need to know exactly what happened so you can spread out the clues as the players are doing their work. So that was a bit of a fail for me. I managed to wiggle out of it. I don't think my players noticed anything. But I finally did that timeline, and it's included in the prep for session 57, which I will talk about in my next video. But for now, I would just say that these 2 sessions with 1 prep were, let's call that fast-paced investigation, which what I mean is that I really don't want to have my players stuck too long with dead ends and stuff. So of course I won't make up clues that really have no sense. That's not the point. They need to be intelligent and do intelligent stuff. But what I do is I wait for the players, to give me some ammunition of their own as they're deciding which tools they want to use to try to get some more info. And for each tool that they want to use or source of info that they're trying to get info out of, I just can see if I can give them something useful out of those situations. And then they need to play out the situation. They need to maybe have some good rolls to get more information. But the basic information, they got it because they decided to go see such and such. The same way that when they go see the locksmith to see like the key of Anadea, where it's from, you don't have them roll for that. It's just that the locksmith knows and he tells them, and that's it. So when they knock at the right door, they'll get the info, like no questions asked. But you can still have a nice little interaction, a nice flavorful interaction. Maybe they can make a friend, maybe they can make an enemy, maybe they can buy someone off. That's up to them. And you build on that as you go through the story. But I have to say, they have been extremely efficient in... During Mark of the Beast, they were very efficient in that investigation too. And this time as well, they're really following leads and being really aggressive about it. So that's just makes my job so much easier. So there you go. I'm getting through this Wrath of the Warden. It is challenging the way it's written to keep the PCs front and center of this adventure, to make them feel that they're doing the work. Is not that easy. The adventure is sort of written to be, they need to do a few things, but basically they just need to find the pearl, find the meerkat, go see the elves, end of story. And yeah, anyways. So this is it for this video. I will do another one right away that I'll post later about session 57. And I hope you're having a great holiday. If it's already over for you, then I hope that you've recharged the batteries, that you have a nice positive outlook for this new year coming up. Everybody knows that 2023 is still fraught with challenges, I believe. I don't think it'll be an easy year, but I think we can get through it and try to spread love and understanding as much as we can. Have fun with our friends. So keep it light, keep it bright, and keep it really scary in Davokar. Bye-bye. See you next time.